1933, the Jews would be captured, killed, and tortured. Their lives would be changed forever. 6 million of Jewish people would die by the end of World War II. They'd be shot, hung, beaten, starved, or die of disease in a concentration. Being a Jew is a religion and an ethnicity. Jews had to go to a synagogue when they worship. The Jews were hated because of Hitler, who was a German leader at the time. He spread propaganda. Propaganda is when people are influenced into doing something and their minds are changed in a way of thinking by false or partially true information. Hitler accomplished the hatred of the Jews by spreading propaganda and starting the Nazi Party. He said in his propaganda that Jews were awful, dirty, and greedy. They should be blamed for all the bad stuff that was happening in Germany. He wanted to be a leader, and he was very good at convincing people he was good. The Germans believed him because they were angry and desperate due to bad economy. They were searching for a leader that would help them. Concentration camps started on March 22nd, 1933, in Dachau, Germany. The war was started by Adolf Hitler, who wanted to kill Jews and created a superior race. Create a superior race. Germans gave him power, believing he was good. At first, not understanding his goal. He said he would help them with anything they needed. He slowly took control of the newspapers and said that the Jews carried disease. This made people blame the Jews. One thing he did to make people afraid of the Jews was cause the Night of Broken Glass, or the Reichstag fires. The Reichstag fires ended the two political parties. That meant that no one could stop him. It also sparked the start of the ghettos. The ghettos were when Hitler caged off the Jewish people in their neighborhoods, saying it was good to rest off it was to keep the rest of the population safe. The ghettos were the start of concentration camps. Regular Germans early on believed Hitler because they were desperate, and he promised all things good for Germany after World War I. He was convincing, and they really wanted to believe him. Hitler's friend Joseph Goebbels was the master of the anti-Jewish propaganda. Because they took away the freedom of press, he wrote that the Jews were bad, and some thought that the Jews deserved to go to work camps. Really, they were going to concentration or extermination camps. Some people didn't agree with this, and they went to the camps too, if they were caught. Others didn't agree with and support the Jews, but didn't say anything because of Hitler's power, and they were afraid and did nothing. Not including the ghettos, there were 7 major concentration or extermination camps. The extermination camps are when they kill people right away. The Jews only went there to die. Auschwitz was the biggest concentration camp. It could accommodate to over 200,000 people. Few could live there for over 6 months. One of the extermination camps was Treblinka. It was a gas chamber. It was only a gas chamber crammed with people. Those who did not die were buried alive. When you went to a concentration camp, they undressed you and put a powder that would prevent lice. They would tattoo a number on your arm and let you fight to live. If you were a Jew, you had to wear a yellow star on your clothes that said Jude. If you weren't, but you were caught helping a Jew, you were a Jewish sympathizer or a political prisoner. The Jewish sympathizers wore a red star and were treated just as badly. Every day in some camps, you would get a dirty light soup with sand and gravel in it for breakfast. For dinner, you got a piece of bread with sawdust as the main ingredient. You had to work in the hottest or coldest weather, otherwise you'd get shot or beaten by the Nazi guards. You had to sleep in a lice-covered mattress on the board floor. Many died of hard work or lack of sleep because their bodies were beaten down. If you're a baby, you're caught and put in the kid camp to fend for yourself. None of them lived very long. If you were old, you were put in the adults group, and the Nazis ignored the fact that you're old or maybe more feeble. If you had a toothache, you pulled it, or if you were sick, you had to fight to live. If you were hungry, you would eat any grass or twigs you could find. People in camps usually died of hunger, too much labor, disease, the gas chamber, or beaten to death. You did whatever you could to live until the war ended or you were rescued. The Jews were scared and did not know why they were being persecuted. They were too scared and passive to fight back. Some ran to other countries and escaped the Holocaust. Some of the Jews tried to hide, but it usually did not work, so they were shipped off to the camps. When they were taken by the Nazis to concentration camps, they thought that they were being taken to war camps until the war ended. When they got there, they realized that this was no war camp. The Holocaust was a mass killing of the Jews. It was a horrible time in history. People could not forget what happened in World War II. They also could not forget what happened to the Jews during the Holocaust. This was not the first time it had happened to them. It was just the first time we have pictures of it. It also may not be the last if we don't learn the lessons from history. The Jews have been persecuted many times for thousands of years for their beliefs. Another lesson learned about World War II is that even if you are desperate for a leader, you should be very careful of the leader you choose. Germans could have avoided Hitler as their leader by relying on each other and their neighbors during hard times, and not on the government. The Holocaust scarred German history forever, as well as millions of Jews.
Can you tell them about your poster now?
Did I just read it?
Tell them about the pictures and stuff.
Well, the writing. The Nazis took roll call. They had the prisoners stand there for hours. Those who fell down, the Nazis killed.
Wow.
When did World War II start? It started in 1933.
Did the rest of the world know it yet, Ashlyn?
3/4 of the population died during World War II. 6 million died.
Wow.
Auschwitz was the biggest concentration camp. It had 200,000 Jews. The Star of David was a Jewish symbol. Nazis made the Jews wear them to identify them, and it had in bold letters Jude. A red star meant you were helping a Jew, and called a Jewish sympathizer, and were treated just as badly.
So how long did the war go on? You know, how many years?
They were rescued when? That one picture is them being rescued, and what did they do? They made a makeshift American flag when they were rescued from, I think it was Auschwitz.
Which picture is that, Ashlyn? Is that the one on the left there?
Yeah, with the flag out.
Where
Yeah.
they're putting the
says-
flag up?
It ended in 1945.
Is that the picture on the left, Ashlyn? Right there below the printing?
Yeah.
They made, that was kind of a cool story, is they made a home, the people in the camp made a homemade flag when they kind of figured they could hear all the airplanes going over, and they started making an American flag because they didn't know what was going on. But
What's the picture below that one, Ashlyn?
This, I think they might be doing roll call. I think.
Look how skinny they look.
tell them about the books you read, Ashlyn. The main
I
books.
read Surviving Hitler, Dog in the Wood, Number the Stars, and I'm reading Born in the Strange.
And then a lot of other books too, but those are the novels that she read that were based on true events.
And
But
so
did-
the babies, they didn't take care of the babies very well.
It says 3/4 of the population died. Is that the population of the Jewish people?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then after the war, though, where did the Jews end up going?
I don't know. I think the Americans helped them.
A lot of them came to America.
Actually, tell them about when we left the really hiding places. They released her on accident,
Yeah.
and then they shot everybody, all the ladies her age. They the lady.
Tell them about the book. The lady was in there, and she was a Jewish sympathizer.
And she was in like the camp, and people. She was there for years, and then they let her out one day on accident, and then they found out, and they shot every lady her age in the camp.
And her sister and whole family died in there, didn't they? And she wasn't Jewish, she was Christian, wasn't she?
They all were Christian.
They were sympathizers.
Very good.